Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be trying the single type pup. We're going to be running Regirock Cofagrigus and Vigoroth. Let's see how this team synergizes and see if we can get some wins here. This is in the Great League, so you're going to have to get these single type Pokemon under 1500. Here we go. Off to a terrible lead. We're going to immediately switch on to the Vigoroth, and we're going to see if we draw out anything else or they're just going to stay in. Looks like they're going to stay in. They go for the body slam here. We let the body slam go, and we do find that it is the Cofagrigus in the back. You're going to see this core probably very common. The Vigoroth and Cofagrigus core makes a lot of sense, and it's going to be very popular probably just because Vigoroth is generally pretty accessible if you had a good slack off. So this Cofagrigus goes for the Dark Pulse here. We are also running the Cofagrigus and Vigoroth in the back. Oh, also, the way I set up this team is an ABA team. So, if you like playing this style, this is the way it's designed. They go for the Shadow Ball right there. That Shadow Ball took about, 50% health of this Regirock. And we're going to be able to tank one, but we have to throw this Stone Edge as soon as possible. They also decided to let it go. Probably going to see the Vigoroth. Okay, and then we switch out. Okay, so this is an okay back line. If we can somehow either bait or get some big damage. We decided to go for the Shadow Ball there. Unfortunately, it was a CMP tie there, and this Meganium is going to be able to get this Frenzy Plant off. So a little bit unfortunate timing right there, and we're going to go for this Shadow Ball here. Maybe they don't shield, considering that they have two shields, but they end up shielding, so we are not making the plays that we need to. So this time we throw this Shadow Ball. Let's see if they're going to shield this one. They end up double shielding, so when I wanted to get some shields down, I probably should have baited at some point, but hindsight is 2020, like I say. And we love lag. We got the lag there. Unfortunately, they were able to, I guess, get to the Frenzy Plant first there. This Cofagrigus goes goodbye. And this is already GG's. Unfortunately, we needed to take out this Meganium before their Vigoroth came back in. There could have been a chance. We could have had a chance to maybe beat this team here. Obviously, the lag didn't help, but no, it is what it is. What I was thinking is maybe we get off a Shadow Ball on that Meganium. I think it still survives. If you go back and watch the Meganium have almost half health, I think it still survives a Shadow Ball from Cofagrigus. I don't know. We'll never know in this video, but the thinking was to do the Shadow Ball, possibly take it out, and then possibly get to a Focus Blast against the opposing Vigoroth before our opponent got off a Body Slam. But I think that game played out how it should have. I don't think we would have won unless we either did two things. We didn't CMP time and got the extra sneak, or we took out the Meganium with that Shadow Ball at the end. But anyways, we go on to the next match here. This is the Umbreon. Umbreon is very popular in single type cup as well, just because of its bulk. Here we have a favorable match. We do have the Focus Blast on this Regirock here, so unless they're just gonna tank it and just hope that their backline wins, we should be able to win this lead. They're most likely going to let this first one go because Regirock can know Earthquake, Stone Edge, Focus Blast, etc., etc. So they do find out that is Focus Blast version, and now they're just going to probably chip away, because they probably know now that this Umbreon is not going to win against this Regirock. So we go for the Stone Edge here. The Stone Edge should be able to take it out. We are running the Stone Edge Focus Blast version. Oh, they decided to shield. Okay, interesting. We're debating whether to shield this or not. Let's see what we do here. We decided to let it go. We live by a sliver of health. Now it's just a race to the Stone Edge. We actually get to the Stone Edge. So good no shield by us because we were able to get to the Stone Edge again, and we get both their shields. So they're looking like they're putting everything on the line with whatever they have in the back. This Umbreon, I figure that it's either going to chip and dip, or we need to keep this Vigoroth somewhat healthy because they don't want to see it in the back. All right, so they end up showing that there's Cofagrigus. Here, we want to make sure we don't CMP tie because we don't want this energy to go to this Cofagrigus without an extra farm. So we decided to just over farm here. Yep, perfectly. And then we throw this Start Pulse. Oh, but they caught our move. They were reading us just like we were trying to read them. We unfortunately throw the Dark Pulse here at a Fairy type. This Fairy is running Fairy Wind, so a little bit lucky that most of his damage is going to be outputted by their charge moves. So we are able to get to a Shadow Ball here to do kind of big damage, forcing them to use some energy right here. So even though that Dark Pulse was resisted, it actually was pretty good chip damage because it forces out energy from this Clefable, and then now we can farm down with their Vigoroth, and now we can throw a Bulldoze towards this Cofagrigus because the Shadow Claws from our own Cofagrigus did take it down to relatively half health, and boom, we take it down. GG's to our opponent right there. I think it played out how it was supposed to. The Regirock, I think it ended up being kind of our MVP. It would have been good against the Umbreon. It would have been decent against the Clefable. You know, it does neutral charge move damage with the Stone Edge towards the Cofagrigus, so we kind of had him cornered in all directions, somewhat. But the fact that they didn't switch out allowed us to kind of dictate the whole match. And it also helped that our opponent went down 2 shields, so. All right, next opponent here, we're going to run into Kanto Ninetales. Okay, so you're going to see Kanto Ninetales, Shadow Ninetales probably, to kind of scare away the Fairy types. Fortunately for us, we don't have to worry about any shields because there's no move that this Ninetales can throw at this Regirock that we have to worry about. So they take a huge Stone Edge right there. Let's see what our opponent's going to throw. This could know Overheat, Side Shock, Weather Ball. Okay, ends up being Side Shock. Interesting. Ninetales is running Side Shock. And here, because we know that they're running Side Shock, they're probably not running anything crazy like Solar Beam. So we're going to allow this to go. And we're just going to farm it down. So huge farm down here. Okay, perfect. And now we're just going to see what's in the bag. We have loaded energy. Oh, a little bit of a core breaker for them. This Reggie is pretty good against the first 2 Pokemon. They do anticipate we have Focus Blast, so they decided to shield. Here we're going to get to another Focus Blast. This Focus Blast probably will do like 50%, something like that. Let's see. Okay, they end up double shielding. So this Regirock has been MVP, just absolutely tearing this opponent down right now. Just breaking down 2 shields, taking out their lead Pokemon of Ninetales, and, you know, taking down 2 shields versus this Umbreon. Unfortunately for them, we have a Vigoroth in the back, and at this point, we don't really know what they have in the bag. You'll see that the Ninetales and Umbreon core makes sense. So what's in the back could literally be anything, honestly. They could have an ABA team, they could have an ABB team. Honestly, I have no idea. So we're just going to play this out. And because we don't know what's in the back, we are going to keep this Vigoroth healthy here. We're going to shield here just to make sure whatever is in the back, we have something or enough health to like throw some move. So I think we're going to let this go because we do survive. Okay, perfect. And we are loaded with energy here, so we want to make sure that we are going to have enough time to get to another move. So we throw the Body Slam right here to take it out, and let's see what's in the back. In the back is a Poison Nidorina. Wow, this is an interesting team here. In my mind, it's kind of an ABA team. So unfortunately for them, we do have the Cofagrigus in the back resisting all these poison types. I'm noticing that this Nidorina is a Purify version, so maybe it was running Return and some poison moves, but unfortunately this Cofagrigus is going to be able to beat out this Nidorina. GG's to our opponent right there. We are going to be able to win that one there. So their team makes sense. Our team was just slightly better, especially with that Regirock kind of being a core breaker, preventing them from switching out at any point. So let's get on to the next game here. I know that this Regirock isn't quite as accessible to everybody because it is Great League version, and you needed to get a Regirock from a timed research recently, I believe, to even have the ability to get this Regirock in Great League. So keep that in mind. The Cofagrigus and Vigoroth, I think, are accessible, but I'm not exactly sure everybody's situation with the Regirock, so keep that in mind for accessibility wise, but it is kind of a cool team. But anyways, we do switch on to the Vigoroth here, and we're going to be faced with a Clefable. This Clefable is resisting all of our counters. However, just like in the past, most of his damage is going to be from his charge moves. So right here, we're going to be able to get to these body slams really quickly. We're just going to be spamming them away. Let's see if we get a shield from our opponent. Our opponent does not shield, so we do one shield and win back the lead, or win back the switch. And now we're going to throw these body slams towards this elite Pokemon. The Gudra here potentially knows Muddy Water and Power Whip, something like that, an Outrage. Okay, so they go for the Power Whip to KO the Vigoroth. So this is kind of an interesting play here. I don't necessarily want to reveal that I have a Cofagrigus in the back, and I believe this Regirock here can survive any move that they throw at us because they're throwing non-stab moves. So we're just going to tank this, hoping that we survive. Regirock, even in Great League, kind of tanky. Okay, so it ends up being the Muddy Water. The Muddy Water is not a super great move, but I guess it's kind of a bait move that could debuff. And so we throw a Focus Blast here to chip it away. And then we're going to switch into our Cofagrigus. This Aloma Mola is going to be tanking a Shadow Ball potentially. Let's see if it KOs at this range. Not quite. Jeez. That thing's a tank. But unfortunately, they decided to leave because they know that they're not going to be able to beat the Cofagrigus with the shield. So GG's to our opponent right there. And let's see if we can end off on a good note here. The last team we saw with the Gudra and the Gudra was an interesting pick, and then that Aloma Mola was also an interesting team. So another dragon here. This time we are going to switch out into the Vigoroth again. We're going to try to see if we draw out anything. Are they going to be throwing on CMP? Are they going to be throwing a move at all? We tried to throw on a weird time right there. Unfortunately, they knew that we were throwing on a weird time, and they were able to CMP tie us. So unfortunately for us, we are going to invest a shield here to try to at least chip away on this dragon here. The fact that they're staying in tells me that they don't want to really see this Vigoroth, so we're just going to spam these body slams as much as possible here. They're not switching out, so we're just going to try to... Oh, we get both shields. So even though this Vigoroth is going to go down, it kind of gives us a clue on what they have. They don't want to see this Vigoroth apparently, but this Vigoroth has done its job, gotten 2 shields. So I think same scenario here. We don't want to reveal that we have Cofagrigus in the back. So I am going to be going towards this Regirock action because all we have to do is get this Stone Edge. The Dragonair has revealed that they have Body Slam, and they're probably running Aqua Tail. Let's see. This Aqua Tail will be super effective, but because it's not same type attack bonus, it's not going to quite do as much. So it was a CMP tie, so good job by my opponent for getting 2 CMP ties versus our backline so far. Okay, it ends up being a Shadow Ninetales. So they decide to throw on CMP again. Man, this opponent has been just throwing CMP perfectly. Okay, fortunately for us, because this is a Regirock resisting these fire moves, we are able to survive barely. We get off a boom Stone Edge, huge Stone Edge to take out their Shadow Ninetales there. And this is GG's because even though this Shadow Mug does have potentially Dark Pulse, it will not KO. We're going to shield here just to maintain the health. And this is GG's because this Mug is Shadow, plus we have the Shadow Ball coming in. So I think they had 2 shadows in the back right there, right? So check out this team. Interesting team. Let us know if you enjoy this team. And let us know if you enjoyed the video.